I'm gonna try 64, see if this makes a little more sense. Whoop. So my plan for tonight is to fix my code, essentially. Not the plan for every night. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to get the interact radius just right. Once I do that, I should be good to go on this particular thing. Seems to be at some such. Look, in theory, right about here, right between the feet, uh, should be, well, right at the bottom of the feet and between the 2 feet is where the point of calculation is. So when I'm like right here, uh, it should have the bar above my head, but down here it does. Well, this is a problem. Well, let me change something so I can test easily. So it'll be here to here. Okay. Furthermore, I'm going to be copying this to this room. Right there. That way the murderer doesn't come into this room. Hmm. Alright, there seems to be a few more issues at play than I originally thought. I didn't notice that character is literally not walking and just sliding around. That is not intended. I don't know what caused that. But for right now, I'm going to solve this issue. square root of that plus this. I see. That would be the issue. Unless I'm mistaken. I mean, that would be one of the two issues. The other of the two issues is that I seem to not be walking at all. I'm gonna, let's see exactly where. So it looks like at the very top it has. Maybe. It looks maybe correct. But just small, so I'll ramp it back up to 128. It's not here, it's here. Actually, this should just be 99. Is this to taste? Alright, I suppose that is about right. Maybe a little bit smaller, but I can fine tune it a little later. Uh, okay, actually, there are more than one more problem. There are more than one more. There's at least two problems. First, the previously mentioned fact that I am not walking but sliding, making two footprints that just slide all over the place. And the other is the search bar doesn't seem to be updating. Okay, so for each character, or each object characters, which is a group of objects, text player of search bar is equal to variable string controller of characters. Interact dot set is 1. Player of search prog or search progress of characters variable variable string string controller. I'm pretty sure I just copied this, but copied this from like up here or something. Actually, I think this might have already been here and I just put this one. Alright, variable interact dot set of characters is equal to 1. Do round characters dot variable interact dot progress divided by characters dot variable interact dot time times 32 times 4. Let's go up here. Characters variable interact dot time characters variable interact dot progress. I'm gonna copy. So we're trying to get a decimal amount, right? This will be the maximum amount, and this is supposed to be the amount that we have. So we'll get a number from 0 to 1. We'll multiply that by 32, and then we'll round it, and then we'll multiply that by 4. We multiply it by 32 because that's 1/4 of the length of the interact or the search progress bar, and then we round it because I like to have a pixel perfect game, a game where you don't have anything between 2 pixels. You don't have like something sticking halfway into 1 pixel or anything like that. Times 4. Because the pixel size is 4 for actual pixels per stylistic pixel, if you will. Alright, I copied that. I'm copying this. I want to make double sure that these are indeed calling the correct variables. They look like they are, but I want to double check. Furthermore, I will be copying this down here. Copy, paste. One thing that occurs to me is I need to check if search prog is actually displaying. Also double check that search prog is the name of the object. It does look so. So with this in mind, let's see how this plays out. I'll pull up the clock so I know where I lie when I upload this. Oh, speaking of if anyone was unhappy that my daily upload did not in fact happen until like an hour or two ago, yeah, I'm sorry about that. I didn't realize I scheduled it for a day after uh when I meant to. Well, that doesn't seem like it's working. Well, I mean, that reflects correctly from what I can tell. So, it's displayed. It's displayed. It has a width of 0. There's only one of these. Let's see, there's like 4 characters, and there's only one on the map. But just to be, yep, more sure, yeah, there's only 4 characters, and only one of those had any instances, and the one that did only had one instance, which was me. Okay, okay. So not only does is this actually, hold on. Not only is interact.set of characters equal 1 evaluating to true, which is why this is evaluating to true. This, wait, hold on, I didn't check that it was set properly. Search prog. It's set to player 1. I understand what is going wrong. It is being displayed. It's just not. Is there other code that's setting it back? Yes, there is other code that's setting it back. I could not look down a few lines. I get it. I'm an idiot. Okay. So now, hopefully that works out properly. Hopefully. Can't guarantee it. That wasn't water. I still have my water with me, but that wasn't water. Perhaps a little later I'll get a little sillier. Oh, ah, let's see if this accurately reflects. Mhm. Although I do want to, I think there's a particular thing. Yeah, yeah, right here. Progress dot interact time, interact dot time is what I'm looking for. It's funny when you rename something in a IDE where you can't just refactor. You actually have to go through everything. I'm gonna copy and paste this over here because I know that's uh, what that is for. Hold on, let me just go down the list. I think that's everything. I I think I know what I want to do for that uh that stuttering. Now that happens because of the way I manage this, which is I don't want to go ahead and make a uh I want to make the game have like smooth movement, if you know what I mean. Like I don't want it to be like a game where you can slide between pixels. I may need to go ahead and change one of the starting properties of the character, which is the time variable. Probably going to set it to like 0.1, just because by yeah, this. I think I know what I'm gonna do for that. That is caused by the fact that I have smooth variables that will track the player's position smoothly. Uh, and then when I actually move uh the character object, uh I do my rounding, or I do divide by 4, round, multiply by 4, in that particular order. So it'd give it a unit size of 4, if that makes any sense. Yes. Controller conversion. The reason why I have that is because if you use multiple, if you use like a Xbox controller or any other controller that's capable of like working like an Xbox controller, at least to some extent, uh, you will have there will be something in there related to the method, which is like Xbox controller, and then the argument, which is like player one, or a keyboard. And that makes things easier because all I have to worry about is the buttons that come out of the I, I want to say emulated controller. So like if you press buttons on a keyboard, like WASD, uh it will be converted into like D will be buttons dot right. Just so that way I can work with uh just one variable. Right. So animation start. This I probably should change to be more fine position. Because what is happening, from what I can tell, is that uh, when you are going at a diagonal, one frame you're going, because of how the variables are working, you're going upwards because you haven't gotten enough to go to the left, and then the next frame you're going to the, like, if you're going up left, you one frame you're going upwards, the next frame you're going left because of like uh how the fine variable moves. And then this checks the coarse rough variable. So I think one thing I should do before hmm, one thing I should do before uh yeah, I should probably change this around to reflect what I'm should be measuring in the first place. This works perfectly if I cap the game at 60 frames per second, but I'm not entirely sure if capping the game at 60 frames per second, because I want some code that I can easily fix to continue to work, would be good. Now, the idea that I came up with before, like a minute ago, was to just to keep the same frame of animation for at least one frame after, which then would prevent the stuttery issue. But the other thing, which is probably like 10 times better, is to just use the fine variables. This can lead to situations uh, where you're not moving, like assuming that you had your fine variables adjusted so slowly that like you wouldn't be moving a pixel in like 10 frames. You would notice that because you'd only move 1/6 or one every 1/6 of a second. Why am I selecting a particular character? I should be selecting characters. I'm gonna leave that empty for now because I need to double check what the variable name is. I'm pretty sure I can also just use different code here, but one thing at a time. Okay, it's just pos.y or pos.x, I'm assuming, from positions y and x respectively. I have to use both of them. So there we go. I have a very makeshift coaster. Though I should still not be putting my drink up here. Maybe over here. what was I doing again? Okay, so I update those variables. Then I go ahead and do all the movement related code here, which will update the variables that have updated these ones. Hmm. Okay, so let's pause. One equal. Greater than. That is greater than, right? Please tell me I'm not that much of an idiot. Right, I suppose pause Y is something I guess I considered more important than pause X movement, being that it's up and down. So hopefully no stuttering. I still have no idea why the walk cycle just doesn't happen. Maybe it's because my computer is processing too fast and you move so little in a frame that you don't actually get to the walk cycle. Maybe. Maybe. I'm sure there's probably a different issue with it, but maybe it's that. Maybe if it's that, then I have a powerful computer. Or rather, I have a okay, not quite what I expected. Now I have a slightly different issue. I went too far onto the other end. Also, it doesn't seem to be turning. Now I can't stop walking. That's probably why. Animation stop. And turning animation y is equal to last pause y. And animation pause x is equal to last pause x. I'm gonna double check. Okay, it does validate. Checking all of these just to make sure. I that might actually just be it. Like, because this computer is relatively brand new. The computer I was programming on earlier, I would be lucky to get 60 frames per second. In fact, the only point where I would get 60 frames per second would just be like the beginning of. You know what? this wasn't even bad code to begin with. I think I could just. It seems to work fine. I should test it. Funny thing is, whilst I'm drinking hard root beer, I I don't think I'm stuttering any more than I usually do. I think I'm just an idiot. Now, granted, there are people who stutter, uh, not necessarily because they're an idiot. I just happen to be an idiot. I think that's success. Don't see any stuttering. I think that was I think that this is just alright to use. Instead of this mess. I I'm going to try old, as I like to preserve literally every single piece of code until I have made sure that it has been successfully replaced. And even then, I'll just forget about removing it. Collision down. IGCD. I'm going to forget about removing this. I'm going to test it anyways. Okay, I think that's really all the issues that I had that were bugging me. Sorry, I disconnected from chat and didn't know that I did. Well, if you said anything before, it's lost to me. So I'm still working on the library to do networking. Hopefully, it will solve the issue of having to port forward as a client. No one wants to do that as a client. No one wants to do that as a server, but that's how the internet goes. Ah, I see. No, it makes perfect sense. Of course, I could walk through walls. Okay, I mean, in all seriousness, that is Gimmel's ability, but it's not quite like that. Also, I haven't even started using it. I put them in the same condition. I should have did something like this. I should have done something like this. gone. My I drank the last of it. That's what's gone. Hopefully I'll find one of these without too much of a trouble when I'm looking for how long I've streamed, and to just confirm that I've started at 10:30 if I remember correctly. So if you're hearing this future me and I haven't gotten this entirely wrong, because I really feel like I started at the latest that I could, 10:30 is when I started the stream. So maybe now you don't have to I mean, I did just pull up a clock a few minutes ago, so you should be able to figure out from that. In any case, what was I doing again? Ah, yes. Oh, oh, oh. Uh, I thought I got stuck in the wall for a bit. I Now that I think about it, that wouldn't even make any sense. Like, unless it was like a wall that had like uh next to no or that had like uh another direction right like 4 pixels into it. Yeah, I don't think this is bad code. I don't even know why I rewritten this part. Why did I rewrite this part? I I don't know why. I'm pretty sure I've rewritten this part in a stream. I I'd have to go back and see why, if I even mention why. And it just shows that I may forget why I do things. I may even think that the things that I do are incredibly stupid. Like, this wasn't that bad. This wasn't even any noticeably bad. Maybe I had a good reason for it. Maybe I'll figure it out when I finally do everything the other way, and then like some way down the line I'll be like, ah, that's why I rewritten code like that. Just I don't understand. Why did I do that? So what I'm doing here is I'm just testing it a little bit at the time. Maybe I should implement a function to push the player out if they are in collision. I forgot about running. I have to fix that. But it looks like that actually just kind of works. Like, before I held down the run button, I actually collided before the top of my head went into the part that's supposed to hide. Why do I even have that there? Shouldn't I just have that kind of around the door if I don't know. There's like 1,000 things about my programming that I just cannot explain. And that I just don't comment. It would be one thing if I commented it. But no, comments are for losers until I actually need it. And then I wish I commented. Alright. Copy this here. Copy this here. Actually, why do I even set the collision check to 0? I should just have it set to 0 from here, unless I run into some collision down the line. I'm gonna just get rid of that. I mean, I shouldn't get too silly. I had like one drink. GCL and left. Wait a minute, I'm pretty sure I had a variable attached. Yeah, I should be having this variable checked. So I'm copying the collision check from here to here because if you already collided with something in a frame, like you're not going to be moved anywhere. At least not until this happens. But you'd still need it down here. This is just kind of a quick path. So like I can prevent having to check this if this already failed. You won't be able to input a new direction. Plus, it wouldn't matter since you are still trying to go in the same direction. In fact, if I really wanted to get down to it, I could probably move this or specify like collision check left and then only have this reset if you press any of the other directional buttons or have teleported. Like my hour's almost up. Yep. You see, the reason why it would be even faster to have uh, a collision check only reset once you press any other direction is because if you're still holding down like right and then you hit a right wall, a right movement preventing wall, then uh, only moving right, you would still be colliding with that wall. I suppose this would be different if you were colliding with like a gimbal wall, which can choose to not collide with you, depending on whether or not you are using an ability. See, you can see the stuttering up and down, but the character does not do the stuttering. Wait a minute, did I just get stuck in a corner there? I'm gonna do one thing. If uh, interact that time is one. Actually, that I will go ahead and make sure only happens after all of this. This way, they won't be equal when you first see an item. I know this isn't really gameplay important, but you know, I'd prefer to make sure that this works and has a nice visual for it. See? Nice and bright. I guess I have to fix whatever is wrong with the murderer code. How much time is left? 3 minutes. Murder movement. Hold all. Blue murder. So I'm pretty sure their thought is irrelevant if they're currently in the scare moment. Scare is above 0. We're taken. Challenge or settings. Dot challenge. Dot current challenge. Dot murder speed. Time for another probe. All right. Probe 7. I'm gonna label this in dark gray. Nah, that's too dark. Yeah, that's all right. 7 is that. I'm pretty sure the challenge is supposed to be set, but I'm not entirely sure that it does get set. All right, debugger probe 7. See, now I understand. Okay, so settings, challenge, current challenge, murder speed. What does stage 6 set that to? So at the end, expert, not what I'm looking for. All right, and speed. No, that's probably why it's setting it despite the fact that there. Settings, challenge, current challenge, murder speed. So I just need to, instead of setting all of these myself, I should probably variable value string of it. String of global variable. It's important, guys. It's global. Challenge string. All right. So m's equals 2. Just a moment. What was the darkness? It's just darkness. S equals, what was the defaults? 4.5. Five. 4.5. All right. I like that. No, hold on. I should probably let this play out. But I'm pretty sure no matter what, it will go ahead and convert it to lowercase. So you could make very jank looking challenge strings that work exactly the same as their all lowercase counterparts. Also, you can insert comments just as long as they're not in the brackets. Basically, everything that's not in a bracket is a comment. Even if does not seem to be working. Does not seem to be working. Debugger from 7 is 0. Is this not working? Did I do something wrong? That might be an indication. Yes, I see. I understand. I still have the question of why isn't it working, but no, I don't get it. I was trying to tell myself that it made sense. It didn't make sense. I was lying to myself. Okay. 6. Wait. 5. Advance. Because frames does advance. 6. All. After all of this, I think it should just advance. I think that's what it should do. All right. I'm stuck at a stage, aren't I? All right, yet another probe. But I'm going to copy this since I don't want to lose track. I'm not going to use the other stuff in it. Probe 8, which is map manager.stage. This is just a regular variable. Nothing too important, it just makes the game function. Ooh. Okay, so I am actually in the game. This does not bode well. Probe 7 is 1, and I have no idea why. Does it subtract 1? I mean, they are running back and forth at a brisk walking pace. I'm pretty sure I set this to 2. And also, I'm half certain that this is supposed... Nope, it's 1 here. Okay, so let's see. Settings challenge string. What do I have? What do I have in test? Settings challenge string. That's the exact thing that goes here, but maybe I have it correct. Maybe there's something like it's, yeah, I don't know what to do. Maybe I'm setting a variable, global variable, text to global variable, straight length, global variable string. This is text to a global variable, which is a global variable string. I'm gonna need another probe. Okay, so it's setting defaults. I need to get this particular code to up here. So I'm going to string, which means I have to go modify this condition, and global. There we go. That should work. It should have already worked. Why isn't it working? Okay, look, I know that there must be something wrong with my code if it's not working. Or maybe some cosmic ray has hit my computer's RAM and has made it flip some bits. I doubt it, but it's possible. At least as far as I know. I think that's actually very unlikely to happen. Probe 9. Probe 9 is showing nothing. So I'm getting rid of that. Oh wait, this isn't even being set. This is old code stuff. Getting rid of that. I feel like that's been around long enough. Alright. I am getting close to going over the mark, but I already finished my clock. I mean, as far as I am concerned, yesterday when I did go over the clock, mostly because I forgot to unpause it. So I'm not going to count that against myself. Except for the fact that I unpaused, or for the fact that I paused it and didn't unpause it. Alright. Okay, that is what I like to see. Things working as intended. Okay, maybe not quite as intended because that the murderer should be, and they just did not care anymore. Interesting. But this is being said. Alright. Why is that happening like that? So when, because I mean, even if they, I'm not saying that that's necessarily bad, but I just don't know why it's happening. By all rights, that murderer should not. Maybe it's going into chase mode and then gets immediately scared, and then uh and then loses or like one, because they were facing that way and I was facing this way. Maybe Maybe they didn't see me see them, but they were still chasing a chase object. I don't know. So let's see. Scared they're taken. Hmm. I'm not entirely sure if I understand that, but I can at least understand that there's something that's not being properly said. That is a. Wait, hold on. After this sun timer wears down. All right, well, my time is up, and I don't know, I'm getting a little tired. So, if you were in chat, uh, thank you. I don't see anyone, but I might have missed someone. This should be on YouTube this Saturday, if I'm understanding that this is Friday. It is. And it should be on YouTube Saturday at 8 a.m. Though perhaps another mistake like yesterday, where I accidentally set it to be for the next day, may happen again. Hopefully not. But that will be all for this stream. So, if you were here, thank you, and good night.